Spokane Valley could become a sanctuary city of a different
Councilman
kind.
Caleb Collier says that this
I'm proposing that the city of Spokane Valley issue a proclamation stating that our city is a Second Amendment sanctuary city.
Welcome to the fire.
Today on Church and State, are you a bot? Hello, Christian Patriots, and welcome to Church and State, where we drive morality and religion over tolerance and apathy. And I'm your host, Caleb Collier, once again, your favorite far-right shock jock, and the show that talks about politics and religion. Jesus Christ is our referee, so it's always nice and clean. Now, I'm going to take you over to churchandstate.media, because I want you to do a few things. Not that. That is the bot. We did see the bot, but you people are not bots. People on Church and State are most certainly not bots, Chris. But I want you to fill out this registration form. I want you to get our newsletter. And of course, probably the best part, personal phone call from yours truly. Went through, called another person today. It's great. Like, I love talking to the audience. And most of you are incredibly nice. And you know how fragile my ego is. So I need that. Chris knows. Oh, yeah, Chris definitely knows. So fill this thing out for me. You'll get a call from me and our newsletter. While we move down the website, I want to show off the incredible, well, number one, all these great episodes. I was going right to the incredible guests we've had. But look, there's a lot of incredible guests that I bring on the show and do incredible episodes every single day, and I want you to check them out and share them with friends, family, and neighbors. Also, those featured guests, which a lot more are about to hit. I'm going to 2 events here, in the not too distant future. Going to come back with a whole bunch of crazy, great interviews, and we're bringing on new people. I told you I booked Mike Adams, so we're going to have a lot more really interesting guests on, but the ones that we already have, just click on their names. It'll take you right to the show. It's fantastic. You want to check out the Ron Paul interview? I know you do. Also, peruse through the great affiliates that we have. They're incredible people. I'm currently sipping on one of the great affiliates. I'll talk about that after the break, but I'm pretty sure I just sprouted some new chest hair. Yes, check them out. And, of course, use that promo code Church and State with every one of them. And speaking of support, hit the donate button for us. Keep us alive and well on so many great platforms. Prepper Broadcasting Network. We've got the national or NRBTV. Sorry, I'm screwing things up today. I'm all excited. I'm Twitter-pated. But we got some great ones, guys. We really do. We love being a part of these networks. And I want to continue to expand. I want to continue to grow. All right, this new one that we're about to be a part of, Faith and Freedom. There's so many good ones out there, and then expanding into that national syndication. Okay, I told you we're pulling the trigger on it, so pretty soon you'll be able to spin that dial. And but all of them, every one of them, needs your help. We need your help to continue to grow and expand. So please, any amount that you can do, we do appreciate it here. Lastly, if you want to get a hold of us, Church and State 1776 at proton.me. With that, are you a bot? You don't want to be a bot. Before we get into that, though, I want to talk about women drivers. Chris is already shaking his head at me. Yeah, I know. And we're so popular with the women viewers, so I don't know why I decide to attack them. Don't worry, I'll throw myself a little bit under the bus here. But there's just been a long joke about this with women drivers. What do you think it is, Chris? Are they more distracted than men are? Is that the thing?
I think they make excellent drivers.
Chris is over here trying to win brownie points. Come on, man. Maybe it is that. Like, I've seen women doing their makeup while driving. You've seen this, right? And texting at the same time.
They do seem to have a multitasking tendency and ability that I don't understand.
See, in men, we just like, you get us behind the wheel, we don't even want to talk. You know, we're just like, what are you thinking about? Nothing. It's the road. Focus in on the road. Like, that's just kind of how we act, right? But women, on the other hand, you guys can be a little bit scary, honestly. Now, my wife and I, we have this argument, this debate all the time about this, and she would tell you, because I know this is going to get back to her. It's not that she watches the show, Chris, is that somebody else who does is going to make a comment. Your husband was talking about your bad driving. So it's going to come back to me. I know, and I'm already setting myself up that way. But it's all in the name of comedy. It's all in the name of good fun. Okay, sometimes I set myself up for an argument or a debate later by my wicked sense of humor. But she would tell you that she's actually had less accidents than me. And I will say, okay, we live out in the country, and I have had a single instance, where I had accidentally parked my car where I had to back up out of the snow. It snowed that night. I got an appointment to run to, and I tried to burn it up that hill, and I slid. But I did a controlled skid, and I did slide into my plow truck. Yes, that happened, but I got it out. So, throwing myself under the bus there. But my wife, on the other hand, she scares me, legitimately. Because have you had a scary woman driver where you're just like, you're in the passenger seat, and as a man, you shouldn't be in the passenger seat anyway, but you're just kind of like white-knuckling it?
I try not to pay attention.
Yeah, you just close your eyes.
Yeah, pretty much, like stare at my phone or something.
You're just like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, and you got your eyes closed the whole time. You're just like, ignorance is bliss.
That's about it.
You might be onto something there, actually. Well, I found a video of my wife actually parking. This is incredible. I didn't know that this existed, but closed captioning television, I found it. I found a video of my wife parking. She actually got the perfect parking spot. Chris, what am I talking about? Let's show the audience of my wife parking her car. Go ahead. That's a perfect parking job. She nailed it. She absolutely nailed it right there. And for the podcasting audience, this car drives over an embankment. It flips twice? It rolls over twice? Yeah. And then lands perfectly in the parking spot. It's like
very impressive.
It's like you throw up your hands like, win. I did it. I mean, she didn't even hit the car next to her. So good. So good. Bravo. Applause to my wife on her superb parking job. I'm proud of you, honey. Man, I'm really going to get it when this show comes out. I really am. I'm in trouble here. That's okay. That's all right. We'll get through it. From there, let's talk about an event that I was at. You know that I've actually done a number of shows about the dangers of these AI data centers. And we had a protest actually on Sunday. I was actually on my way to church, and I get this text from a friend like, hey, can you come speak at this event? It's today. I'm like, oh, wow, okay. Well, I'm at church, or almost to church, so I can come afterwards, and it all worked out, and I ended up being a speaker at this. And KXLY was there, the Inlander was there. I'm going to show you a video, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about the importance of this. So go ahead, Chris. Let's see what KXLY has to say about this.
New data center proposed in eastern Washington. Avista has since paused the processing of energy requests from the developers, but protesters are still opposing. Angela Harris spoke with a group that was rallying and Avista on the proposed data center.
Today's protest took a month's worth of planning. Several speakers came out today, including a farmer from Boise and a local tech expert who was explaining the negative impacts of the discussed data center.
About 30 people gathered at Upriver Park right outside of Avista's headquarters to protest the data center. One farmer says a friend of his has already been negatively impacted.
We used to breed sheep, and they put a 5G tower right next to our property, and now all our sheep are infertile.
A tech expert shares that the technology is too powerful to keep the land around it clean.
These data centers rely on massive cooling, meaning that every time one of these massive construction projects is built, they're muddying your wells.
Ashley May is one of the rally's main organizers. She says the issues extend beyond the money it could cost the average customer.
We're running out of water rapidly. Our land is disappearing. Our trees, which we need to breathe oxygen, our wildlife have nowhere to go to. I mean, there's so many key things as to why these data centers should not be placed in our backyard.
Avista says they stayed in communication with the organizers in the month leading up to the rally. The company says they allowed people to park on their lot and even helped pick a location for the protest.
They were very
They also
friendly.
had security frequently check in. I asked Avista if customers should expect to pay more if the development of a data center
You can go
were
ahead
to
and
resume.
pause it, Chris.
Our
That's
number
enough of
one
that.
priority.
They got the Avista guy who's talking about the number one priority is that these customers that they have, which Avista customers are not exactly happy because their rates are already excessively high, but their number one priority is to make sure that this data center doesn't steal all of the power. This event was incredible. Should have been a whole lot more people there. Truly, there should be. It was Hoop Fest weekend. I get it. There was a lot of things. Summer's a hard time to put one of these things on in anyway, but we do have a year, right? We have a year moratorium with Spokane City. Okay, there is the possibility that this data center is built in the county somewhere or even on tribal lands, as some people are discussing. So we have to keep the pedal to the metal. But this is an extremely important issue. And I got to clear up some disinformation. We're not opposed to data centers. I mean, right now, the whole reason why you can watch this show is because there are data centers. And in fact, I believe from my last count, Spokane has about 7 data centers throughout the entire county. But we're talking about a new breed of data centers, okay? A massive AI data center. And when I spoke, I was talking about privacy issues. That's going to be my top priority. I do have some concerns about the environment, and I'll get there in a minute. But these privacy, I was talking about, of course, the Palantir, right? The flock cameras, the signal trace. All of these things are in existence in modern America, unfortunately, really throughout the world. When we look at flock cameras, which are taking pictures of our license plates, right, as we drive through, and if you're going 5 miles above the speed limit in a school zone or a park zone, you're going to end up with a nice ticket in the mail. And it's a complete violation of our Constitution because we're not able to actually address our accuser, which is spelled out in the Bill of Rights. No, they just say, well, a cop signed off on it, and you can't really fight this thing in court. It's a complete violation. But even beyond that, the flock cameras now, through a simple upgrade, which I covered on a previous show, they have a new thing called signal trace, which is going to be hacking all of your data inside your vehicle. I'm talking about your cell phone, your laptop, right? your infotainment center, the tire pressure sensors in your car. Oh, and in fact, your pet who has that little chip embedded in them. Yeah, it's tracking all of that. So now it's not that you can throw mud on your license plate or get one of those nice little license plate covers. It doesn't matter anymore because now every single flock camera that you see is getting all of your data. And then we can go to Palantir, which I've covered multiple times on this show, which has done predictive crime, straight out of Minority Report. All of that technology and all of these AI, every single time you're using artificial intelligence to look things up, to have talks, to get through therapy, or that woman that I interviewed that was encouraging people to have emotional relationships with their artificial intelligence. All of that needs massive data centers. And that's what the opposition is too, or at least on my end for sure. Now, sure, there's environmental issues as well, big concerns here. The amount of water, the amount of cooling that they need, the humming noise that a lot of people that unfortunately the data centers have been built in their neighborhoods, talking about that, a constant hum that is extremely disruptful. There are a lot of environmental concerns here. And as a Christian, as a libertarian, I do care for our environment. I want it to be stewarded well. So that's what this is really about. And if you, especially the people that live in Spokane County, but I will address this because I have a national audience, look, all of you should be fighting this. So these data centers are being built all over the country. We need to come together and fight against this. And speaking of coming together, it was a weird event for me. In all of my time in politics, I don't think I've ever had a conversation with Antifa. Probably some yelling, but never actually a cordial conversation with Antifa. And the individual that it was in the video, long-haired, wearing a plaid shirt. As I was talking with him before the event began, he asked me where I was politically. I told him I'm a Christian libertarian. He kind of nods his head, and he's like, I'm Antifa. I was like, interesting. Here we are. Christian libertarian and Antifa coming together over opposition to an AI data center. What, you got things to say?
That sounds about right.
Sounds about right for me? Okay. But he tells me, he's like, but I'm like legitimate Antifa is what he tells me. He's like, I don't like Biden. I didn't support him. And I don't like Trump. And I was like, fair enough. I also didn't like Biden. And I don't really like Trump. So there was some common ground. And I even talked about this during my speech. Like, I pointed him out. I'm like, I'm a Christian libertarian. He's Antifa. We're not supposed to talk. But we got to come together on certain issues, ladies and gentlemen. We absolutely have to. And I've talked about this before. This tribalism that I'm getting so sick and tired of. Like, they constantly have us at a war with an enemy that, are they really our enemy? You have this dichotomy, right? This left-right. They're constantly getting us politically to do combat with each other. And the people at the top, the true enemy, they're laughing all the way to the bank, all the ways to steal all of our rights as they oppress us. And look, shouldn't be something unique to you. You should be aware of this. You look at the history of the banking system, for example. You look at the history of wars and how many times the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, these hyper-elite families would control both sides. They would fund both sides. You do realize that during World War II, for example, that the Rothschild banking system was funding Great Britain and was funding Germany, was funding the Axis and the Allies. Why would they do something like that? Because they're making money off of it. Because the war machine is in full bloom. And they're making tons of money off of both sides. And it doesn't really matter who wins. They end up picking a winner. But this Rothschild banking system, if Germany would have been getting the upper hand and would have been more controllable, well, we would have all been speaking German right now. That's the true victor in all of this. And it's just not World War II. You can go back to the Civil War in the United States, which I've covered on previous shows. That's the true enemy. And we got to stop. We got to stop with this. I hate you because you have different beliefs than I do. Look, every conversation should be on the table. And after all, that is something that the First Amendment talks about. We should be able to have decent conversations with people who don't agree with us. Because I truly believe, as a Christian, that the truth wins out. And with my thought process, my belief system, my faith, I know for a fact, I have zero doubt, that Christianity wins. When you approach this thing logically and examine all of the facts, you're going to come to the conclusion that Christ is in fact king. But how do I get there? Not through enforcement, not through whacking somebody, figuratively speaking, across the head, saying, wake up, forcing them to go to church, forcing our country to have a religion. No, I believe in the free market of ideas. And because of that, I want to have conversations like the one I did with Antifa. Weird stuff. Really strange. But I want you all to think about that, to consider things. Sometimes it is appropriate, proper, to reach across the so-called aisle and to start having conversations with people that you don't maybe even like. But there are specific issues that we have to come together with. As Americans, we have to come together, or we're going to lose this country. And the people at the top, not only, I was about to say they don't care. Let me correct myself. They do care. They're engineering it. They want this country brought low. Why do they want this country brought low? Because they believe in the whole Phoenix agenda. They believe that from the ashes will rise their glorious and beautiful one world system. And they have all their little acolytes and they have their little organizations that all promote this. And if you're paying attention, they're saying the same thing. You look at the World Economic Forum, you look at Bilderberg, you look at Bohemian Grove. All of these sycophants, all of these people that are literally getting their marching orders from hell, all want the exact same thing. You get to the high levels, the people that are actually controlling the strings of the Democrat Party, of the Republican Party, don't care about that. They don't care. These victories, they're minor. What is their goal? Money and power. It's like you talk to any detective, and anytime they're investigating a murder, it's going to be three things: money, sex, or power. Every crime throughout history, let me throw out murder. Any crime comes down to those three things: money, sex, and power. And when you look at these people at the very top, they've got all the money in the world. They don't have to go looking for things. So what is their opiate? What is their drive? It's power. That is their biggest hit. Their biggest drug is power. They want all of it. They want more of it. It's never good enough. And that power that they crave, well, the end result is less liberty for us. So we got to focus on the true enemy here. Get away from this tribalism, politics, church, and education, sports, Hollywood, all of that. Move away from it. And with that, it leads me into what I'm going to spend the rest of the conversation on. Are you a bot? That's an uncomfortable question. But it's one we need to ask. It's one we need to have a discussion about. Because all of us have been guilty at one point or another of behaving like a bot. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with what this is, I actually got the definition from WikiHow. What is a bot? It's slang, right? Bot is slang for a person who acts like a computer in one way or another. Bot is commonly used by video game players to tell other players that they're playing poorly or like a computer. Bot is also used on social media to accuse other people of suspicious behavior like repetitive activity, product placement, or incoherent posts. But how do you apply that to what we're currently experiencing? Because there's bots in every application. How about education? Do you behave like a bot in education? Well, the public education system creates bots by design. That was the Prussian system I've talked about numerous times on this show. They want to create workers, drones, bots. They simply believe that their entire existence is just to fulfill the mandates of their employer. That's the end goal. You go to school, you graduate, you go get your job, and you work it. Sure, they allow you to get married and have kids, maybe even a little bit of vacation time. But the end result is that you're going to work your entire life for a company that will replace you the moment you die. The people at the top, once again, don't really care for you. They don't care about you. You're just a number to them. And as soon as they can replace you, whether it be through artificial intelligence, robots, or just the next drone that's up in the system because you're a little bit old and can't do the job as well, well, they will. And you gather around the water cooler at these bot farms. And what do? You talk about sports. And that's another bot analogy. I talk about this a lot on the show. You got your favorite sports team. The World Cup's going on right now. You've been watching the World Cup at all, Chris? Do you like soccer?
World what?
Yeah, exactly. They're talking about it, right? And everybody's wearing their favorite jersey team and all that kind of stuff. But with the bot mentality or the tribalism mentality, one team, your team, can do all the penalties in the world. Doesn't matter. It was a bad call. Can't believe the ref called him for that. Dude literally punched another guy in the face. Can't believe they called him for that. It's totally legitimate, totally within the rule book. But then the other team, they're acting the same way. You got bots arguing with each other over stuff that doesn't even matter. It's soccer. It's sports. And you got the people in the Hollywood. And they're watching the Kardashians or the reality television shows. Or even like this. You ever met somebody like this? No matter what you say, They're hitting you with movie quotes. Now, look, guys like movie quotes, and I use my own fair share of movie quotes. I got buttons of movie quotes. I mean, He-Man, I have the power. I do. But yeah, I like movie quotes. But not every conversation. Not every single time. Every single thing. Look at the example of GIFs, and I'll throw myself under the bus here. I like GIFs. I use them sometimes. But should every conversation be you just acting like a bot? Using movie quotes instead of opening your mind and being capable of independent thought? Of examining a situation or a story? Really considering it, sitting down, and what are my thoughts exactly about this? Or is it just simply easier to act like a bot? Now let's get to the really important stuff. Let's talk about politics and religion. And if you're acting like a bot in this, do you behave as a bot when it comes to politics? Are you in the Democrat and Republican agendas and propaganda? Do you excuse every behavior as long as it's coming from your political team? Is this just this strict adherence to whatever talking point your party delivers? Do you find yourself, when you're in your car, maybe even in your house, just listening to the conservative talk media or to the Democrat talk media, just echoing those talking points? Never considering what's actually being said? Never considering that if this was coming from the Democrats, I would fundamentally oppose this, but because it's coming from the Republicans, sign me up, baby, I'm on board? You're acting like a bot. You're behaving like you've been programmed. And that is no existence, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want to be programmed. God didn't make us to be programmed. Why is it that every single one of us, every one of us, is capable of exploring, of thought, of having emotions and a thought process that gets you to being a unique individual? We all used to strive for that, being unique. And in that striving for uniqueness, the corporations, well, they honed in on it. And by corporations, I mean everything. Big tech, big agra, all of it. They honed in on it. And they made it to where the more we strove to be unique, the more we just fit in. The more we behave just like every other person. So you can have your little nuances. You can even be independent. You can be part of the Green Party. You can be part of the Libertarian Party. They're a little more nuanced. But even with that, you're still behaving like a bot. You're still putting yourself in a little tiny box. And because you want to be socially accepted, you never get out of it. I'm not done yet. I got more to talk about. This is Caleb Collier with Church and State. Are you tired of your device spying on you? Ladies and gentlemen, we live in 1984. Your phones, your tablets, your smart televisions, they all are spying on you. And this is why I heavily endorse Mark37.com. This is everything you need for your digital privacy. Phones, tablets, laptops, all of them are ghost protocoled. So that means that you are in charge of your own data. Just go to churchandstate.media, scroll over to shop, and hit mark37.com for all of your privacy needs. Make sure to use that promo code Church and State. And we're back, and thank you for staying with us. You're over at churchandstate.media. We'll go back to the show in just a second here, but let me calm things down a little bit. Let me display some anti-bot behavior. Let's talk about some of our great affiliates. And what am I drinking? I'm drinking, I got to show the bag. Whew. I love this stuff. Chris, you've had it. You like it too, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Hunter's Blend Coffee. I love the name of it. Black powder. I'm drinking black powder. Chris, if I burped right now, it may shoot a flame out of my mouth.
Yeah, be careful. I'm right in the line of fire here.
You may lose more hair. I don't know. But this is really good coffee. I mean, that smell it. Oh, man, it just smells like being awake. Yes. I'm drinking it out of my Church and State mug, and I'm just feeling good about myself. Look, they got a lot of great blends, okay? And I tease you people who drink decaf for the breakfast blends, but they do have some of that for you. Why drink anything but dark? I don't understand that. But check these guys out, all right? They love America. They love veterans. A great coffee company. And I want you to support them. And the way to do it is to go to our website, churchandstate.media, and go and check out their coffee. And especially for 4th of July. Dude, we're 250 years, Chris. Like, mugs up. Come on now. Yes, right? 250 years of not drinking tea. Yeah, we drink coffee.
Yeah.
Man, I'm so glad that we won. Just for that simple fact. Because I hate tea. Even the name of it, tea. Coffee is like, it's masculine. Tea is like limp-wristed. Check out Hunter's Blend Coffee and use the promo code Church and State. And also, while I'm at it, I like the nicotine. But sometimes the nicotine can be a little extreme. I'm rhyming, I'm spitting lyrics over here. Go check out the Patriot Pouch, ladies and gentlemen. It's not nicotine, okay? Some of you are concerned about it. It's a great item here. Good stuff. It's nioxidine. It hits the same nicotine receptors in your brain without giving you the elevated heart rate, the high blood pressure. Maybe I shouldn't be drinking coffee and nicotine at the same time. Maybe it's nioxidine, so I should be okay. But anyway, check out the Patriot Pouch. And once again, use that promo code Church and State. And one more time, hit the donate button. Keep us alive. Look, NRBTV, National Religious Broadcasters, Prepper Broadcasting Network, CDM, Faith and Freedom, Newscasters, Your News. Am I missing anyone, Chris, there? There's a lot of different platforms we're on.
It's hard to keep track of.
It is. We're very popular. It's awesome. But I need help to continue to grow, expand. People need to hear more of this message because people are getting tired of the same old. People are waking up to the bot system. And like, I want somebody that's unique, somebody that's vulnerable. I'm your guy. So help me out. $10 a month, whatever it is. Please hit the donate button. All right, with that, continuing on with the conversation about bots. Look, there's a lot of important issues out there, and I get it. And I'm going to go into the church here in a minute. But there's a lot of political and very important issues. Okay? You get people, and you hear it, right? I love the Second Amendment. Well, what do you love about the Second Amendment? I love guns. Don't you think you should be a little bit more educated? Don't you believe that you should know a little bit about the intentionality behind the Second Amendment? And maybe that the Second Amendment applies to every American? Maybe you should be able to do that so that when you're at the water cooler, you can actually have a good conversation with people. I've had friends that have been anti-gun. Fine. Why is that? People on my side of the aisle, they scare me. Okay? Well, then let's walk through that. What's more frightening? A total totalitarian government or a bunch of armed citizens? I think we know the answer to that. And through these types of conversations, I've actually been able to lead people into shooting to where now they are totally about it. They got their own guns. Guns shouldn't be scary. Guns should be scary to the government. Well-armed populace should be scary to the government. But being educated means you're not being a bot. You're not just listening to Sean Hannity, who I was listening to on my way over. You know what Sean Hannity said, Chris? I was waiting for it. I knew it was coming. I was waiting for it, though.
What was it?
It's one of my favorite lines. He says it every 2 years. This is the most important election of our lifetime. And he said
this one is more important?
He said it this afternoon. I was listening, and I was like, there it is, right there. They're gearing up for the midterms. And Sean Hannity, this is the most important election of our lifetime, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me. It was more important than 2024 or 2022 or 2020. But those were, of course, the most important elections of our lifetime. They keep doing it over and over and over again. Why? Because they want to remain in power. And he's just a talking head for them. Stop with the bot behavior. If the Republicans, if Donald Trump was supposed to be the savior, right? And you're looking around, and you're like, man, gas prices suck. We're in another war. Man, it sucks to go to the grocery store. Prices are up. Maybe it's time to stop with the bot behavior, with this extreme loyalty to whatever political party. And maybe, I'll throw something out here. Maybe it's better when the government's at war with itself. Because you think there might be something to that? Like when there's a Republican as a president and the Democrats controlling Congress and they fight each other and a lot of more laws don't get passed, you think it might be better for your average American citizen?
I could see that.
Yeah, right? It's kind of like...
It seems like they always agree on the worst stuff.
That's a very good point. Why? Because they're a uniparty. But, you know, like it's like Parks and Rec. You remember Parks and Rec? It was a great show, right? And they had every libertarian spirit animal, Ron Swanson. He works for the government to try to destroy it from the inside. And they're talking about a government shutdown, and he's over there like... Yes. Like, yeah. Am I the only one who cheers when the government starts talking about a shutdown? It's awesome.
It is awesome.
I love it. Shut it down. Before I go too far into the political theater here, let's talk about the church. Do you act like a bot in the church? It's one that might hurt a little bit more. I have a large Christian audience. But that's a question you need to ask yourself. Are you reading the holy word of God? Do you know what the Bible actually says? Or are you just getting your talking points from your favorite pastor? Doesn't even have to be the church that you're going to. Maybe you've got your own favorite celebrity pastor. Maybe you've got all their books. You're just looking at that. Not reading what God actually wrote for us, but the interpretations of your favorite pastor. This is how we get things like God helps those who help themselves. Really? Never read that in the Bible. This is how we get some of the worship songs that I make fun of constantly on this show. Jesus, I want to touch your face. What? No, stop that. The only way that you can stop behaving like a bot inside of the church is to know what your faith is actually about, to build strong theology, to stop with the people that tickle your ear. All of these modern day prophets who are wrong constantly. This idea that you're going to declare it. I declare it, I declare it, I declare it. God's going to act this way. Really? The creator of everything is going to act this specific way because you declared it? You got a lot of power. Man, how did you put God in that genie bottle? Look, I'm not trying to be sacrilegious, but that's how you all treat him sometimes. Knock it off. Okay, but then you have another crowd. The sovereignty crowd. And look, I agree. I believe completely that God is sovereign over all things. But sometimes when you need to take action, you don't just say, you don't just use kind of the apathetic approach of, well, God's sovereign. He's got it. Yes, he is. But he also created us to act, to take the gospel around the world, to stand for widows and orphans, to see things that are occurring that are tyrannical, that are oppressive, and for us to take action instead of just saying, it's all part of his plan. Well, of course it is. He's not surprised by any of it. But does that excuse inaction? Why do you think James wrote, faith without works is dead? Because we got to get out there and we got to plow those fields. We got to take action and stand for the oppressed. But far too many people within the church, they're giving you the Christian platitudes. You know the kind that I'm talking about. Something terrible is happening. Let's just take the earthquakes in Venezuela, for example. The amount of death and destruction on that poor country. is heartbreaking to witness. And what do the Christians say? Chris, can you guess? It's 2 words. Can you guess what Christians say?
I'm drawing a blank on this
Thoughts and prayers, man. Thoughts and prayers.
Well, those come in handy.
Yeah. I mean, they do. Prayers are awesome. And we'll never diminish the power of prayer on this program. But can we do more than thoughts and prayers? Is that bot-like behavior? I think we can. I think we absolutely can. I think we can partner with great private organizations, because guess what? Private organizations do it a lot better than government ones do. There are great private organizations out there that are already down, boots on the ground, trying to save people, pull them out of rubble. Unfortunately, now with the conditions, a lot of that's recovery. But we can do more. And so as I'm kind of winding down on this show and encouraging you to not act like a bot, I want to encourage you to step out into the uncomfortable, to get out there and do things, to not look and drive by somebody with a flat tire and go, man, thoughts and prayers. You think that person might appreciate it more if you pulled over, helped them out? Even if you don't really know what you're doing. Putting your flashers on so that people see that there's somebody in trouble. Maybe somebody else pulls over. Maybe they get out of the lane that's closest to you. It's a simple act. But that's the kind of things that we should be doing as Christians, as Americans, as people that genuinely care. What if the world could be transformed like that? And honestly, I'm talking to myself here as well. Isn't that need to be busy or hurry up? I got my own things going on. Can't be late for this. I just want to get home, take off my shoes, put my feet up. Maybe we stop. Maybe we take action. Maybe we stop acting like a bot, like we're programmed by honestly, a monolith that's trying to get us to act in selfish manners, to not critically think, above all else, to not care for our fellow man. Could it be as simple as that? To transform the world? To just start treating people like brothers and sisters? Church and State is brought to you in part by Colonial Life Spokane Independent Agents, Finders Insurance, and Mark37.com. I'm Caleb Collier. I was born for a storm.
Welcome to the fire.
Hey, this is Caleb Collier with the Church and State Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I want all of you to go to Galileo.com. You need to stay connected no matter what comes our way. Whether it's government intrusion or a meteor falling from the sky, Galileo has you connected. As a Marine veteran, I can tell you that communications is essential. Galileo has you connected. Whether it's worldwide coverage, uncensored content, or real-time alerts, Galileo is going to make sure that you're connected with your friends, family, and neighbors. Just head on over to churchandstate.media, scroll over to shop, and hit Galileo.com. Make sure to ask them for a free bivvy stick, and make sure to use that promo code Church and State. This is Caleb Collier with churchandstate.media. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not sleeping on MyPillow, do you even patriot? I got to tell you, this is the most wonderful stuff from a man who's given it all for your freedoms. Whether it be the pillow, the sheets, or the slippers, I absolutely adore MyPillow. MyPillow has the greatest products around. I know when I want to shuffle around in my bathrobe and slippers and yell at the neighbors, of course I'm buying from MyPillow. I need you to head on over to churchandstate.media, scroll over to shop, because every single time that you purchase any of these products using the promo code Church and State, you ensure that we keep our message out on the air.
I thank everybody for your support in using promo code Church and State. You guys go to mypillow.com/Church and State too, and then you get your own little platform right there, everybody.
Hey, this is Caleb Collier, and I know you're excited for the Church and State podcast. Now, as a Christian patriot, I love precious metals, whether it's gold, silver, palladium, and of course, lead. And this is why I want you to go over to Ponderay Ballistics, don't ask me how to spell it, for all of your ammunition needs. Remember, that's PENDOREILLE ballistics.com for all of your ammunition needs. I want you to head on over to churchandstate.media/shop, go to Ponderay Ballistics, and have a shooting good time.